Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the
All
good
the good things
and
and
bad things.
things that maybe.
Let's
Let's
talk
talk about
about sex.
sex.
This is
Brilliant.
my favorite topic. I love talking about sex. I want to talk about it all day, every day.
I
Good,
am not
bad.
like that. But I would
Let's make Madison uncomfortable. 101.
I feel so comfortable talking to you about it. Like, I think we've already had so many discussions about it. And I do like talking about sexuality is such a weird thing.
Yeah.
And in these past couple of years for me, I think I've always been innately sexual, but I think I've always kind of suppressed it as far as like figuring out my own thing and figuring out what I'm attracted to and figuring out like how to be myself and not be who I think my partner wants to be. This took a really serious turn very quickly. I'm so sorry, but like,
no, don't be. I like it.
Yeah, I think like that has gotten like I'm finally at the age of 25 and I still have so much room to grow. But I think I was in such a long relationship where the sexual health was great, but I constantly like I don't think I was always honest about what I wanted in the relationship because I was way more concerned about pleasing him. And in turn that didn't please him because I was more like it was like a cat and mouse, like I'm trying to please you, like. And I think if we were constantly open and not that we weren't open with each other, but I could have been more forthcoming to myself about what I wanted. And I think now getting back into the dating game and I'm kind of like I'm gonna ask for what I want and like be open about what's the deal.
What makes you like feel pleased? Like, because I think that sex obviously isn't like the only thing in a relationship, but it's a big aspect of it, and it definitely affects a lot of that romantic part of any relationship because you want to be able to physically connect with the person that you're in love with or you're in a partnership with, and you want to be able to be your most vulnerable with them in those moments and allow yourself to be pleased by them. And that's really hard to do. Like I still find myself being uncomfortable in certain aspects of my body or being touched a certain way or like or being able to ask for a certain thing or saying I wasn't pleased or saying like I need you to do this to get me to where I need to be instead of just pretending.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think like it's so funny. Like I think about like even thinking back, I at the time I think I thought I was saying certain things to like get him aroused or get him happy and you know I was like, oh, I'm just doing this to like give him a good time, but then he wasn't well receiving of it and I still was doing it, and then I was like, oh no, I want that, like I want to talk like that in the like, you know. And I was like, oh okay, because like I thought I was doing it for him the whole time, and then he was like, not that he didn't like it, but it wasn't
You like talking dirty, do you?
let me go die. No, like, you know, I think it's just like behavioral, you know, like yeah, I don't know how else to say that without getting into like gritty details. So yeah, I think I was more dirty talk for sure is like a thing that I was like thought I needed to do because it's like you hear it in, you know, movies and you hear it in all these things and you know it seems like obviously a top fantasy for anyone, you know. But then if someone's like, I'm bitch, you don't need to talk to me. But you're like, oh wait, I wanted that. Like figuring that out has been fun. But I have so many things that I wanted to ask you about this specifically. So, okay, you made so many good points with what you last said as far as like feeling like you can be open and honest about your wants and needs. I think it's safe to say that we've both been in situations where we haven't been able, or we haven't felt like the opportunity.
How many times? I mean, I don't know for you. How many times have you been with a guy and you're like, yeah, I came, and you're like,
I actually happily can say I've never faked.
Really?
Yes. And that's because I had a goal for myself because I knew so many women that had, because it's very common. And I don't feel shame for it at all.
I know. I like it all the time. I know it's so hard for women to get to that point.
Yeah.
It's like really hard.
I think, but this was something that I think derailed my relationship, some bit of my sexual relationship with my ex, because I was the only person that I had, I'd expressed it to him, and it wasn't like I was like, oh, what a snooze fest. Like like, it would be like he'd check in with me and I'm like, it's good,
Yeah.
good, and he's like, but, and I'd be like, no, but it's okay. And it's
Wow,
like,
that's great
you know,
though. That's awesome. I
but
think you should be able
then,
to do that.
yes, I totally agree. And
Yeah.
you choose your own path. But then on the flip side of it, I was the only woman who had never orgasmed with him.
Wow.
That took a skydive to his ego, for lack of better words.
Sure, yeah.
So that was a hard dynamic for us
Yeah.
because I was not lying. And he, of course, was like, no one's ever lied to me before. And I was like, I don't believe that's a true fact.
That's definitely not true. Every girl I've ever talked to is generally more so like, yeah, like it's hard. You can't, and like you want them to feel proud of themselves.
Yeah, you don't want to ruin the moment. But
Yeah.
see, I think it's also with my experiences too. When I've been sleeping with people, they've been in long-term relationships where it didn't feel, and not that you can't do that in long-term relationships, but for me, I felt to the point where I was like, I just need to be unapologetically honest with him, because if I don't set it up now, I'm gonna keep doing this, and I know myself. I would never like stop the facade. I would just keep it
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Like if I'm gonna be in this relationship for 5+ years,
Right.
I'm, not that it was 5+, but if I'm going to, if that's the trajectory of where we're going, I don't want to be miserable. So yeah. So I'm one of the like unicorns that has
Wow,
actually.
you are.
Yeah, but then it also makes for like a
Well,
sad.
let me ask you this though now, like, because that was a long-term relationship for you and you were able to create that communication. If you go into this single life and you're not necessarily going to go into a very committed relationship right away, there might be a little bit of, would you
I
still
feel
be
the
the same
pressure.
way? Yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing.
Do you say like,
My my instincts say just keep it real, girl.
Yeah.
But then it's also like in the moment, and this is gonna take a kind of dark turn. I apologize, but I think I get fearful of like if you aren't like boosting the male ego, especially if it's with someone you don't really know that well.
Yeah.
How are they gonna take it? And if you're already in an intimate situation like that, how do you know it's not going to go sour very quickly? And I think maybe that's why a lot of women do it, because it's just easier to be like, yay!
Good job.
And like it didn't happen, because what about if it's met with anger or like shame or like.
Well, and here's the other thing too, like sex can still be really great for a woman without reaching that like pivot. Like for men, like that's kind of like the end, like that's how you know it's over, like because it got to that point. But for women, like you can still really enjoy sex without that.
Totally.
Yeah.
And some women, like I know a couple of women who don't orgasm with partners but have no issue by themselves, and it's like, and that's fucking great, like, but it's also sad at the same time.
Machinery is always going to be more powerful than a man. It's just impossible for you to compete with that.
I can't with you. I love you. But it's, modern electronics, shall we say, have gotten technology has gotten so advanced that you're totally right. Like I feel like that's hard. But I know that like when you are open and you can have these open discussions with people, even if it's like awkward, I always promote more conversation in the bed. Like
for sure,
even though I know some people hate that, and I totally get that, I think it's so much better though, because like say you do something that's like just not working and you're like, dude, it's not working, like you can laugh about it. It doesn't have to be like you're ruining this. Like I think it really is approach and attitude. And I've definitely had an ex-partner be like suggest something that I'm like, we'll try it. And then end up liking it.
Wait, where was the halt? What was it?
Just like anything. I think any new positions that I wasn't used to or anything like that. That I was like, intimidated by,
Yeah.
I think,
My,
obviously.
one of my exes got inspired by 50 Shades of Grey
Oh yeah.
and bought one of those bars that like put in like there's a scene in 50 Shades where like you strap the legs and there's a bar and you're like supposed to flip them over. Looked great in the movie. Looked real exciting in the movie. In real life, it is not fun. I did not like it at all. I'm like, no.
Listen, that's so true. And that's why you have to try things. Like you have to try what works for you. And it's so funny. Listen, for all of my Ariana Grande fans out there, 34 plus 35 is one of my favorite songs. I fucking love this song. It is like my thing right now. 69, the sex position.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I'm
and
not a
I
big
and
either.
every time I've talked to people about it, men and women, again, no matter their sexuality or, even gender identity, I should say, but I feel like it's always met with like, it's kind of overrated.
It
Like you
totally
can't
is.
focus on you and your partner at the same time.
Right. And like literally, like, yeah, if you're being, yeah, there's like too much going on. Like there's no,
Too
yeah.
much, like, no matter the position, like it's just,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but that's not necessarily it. But like, I've definitely had my like partner be like, "Oh, well, let me try," like
Yeah.
flipping bodies, and you're like, "Okay, let's try it." But then,
Well, here's another thing too. I feel like there's been times where I tried a sex position and I'm like, oh, it's not really like hitting it that well. And then like I'll try to get another time. And then all of a sudden it's just like, I don't know, even for women, if our bodies at different times like are affected by different positions, that it's like incumbent of a partner to continue trying different things and maybe retrying at different times to see if it affects somebody differently at a different time.
totally. I mean, I don't know if I've gotten like this hippie with you. I mean, we have, but I don't know about this specific topic. But I've read about hormonal cycles, like where you're
Mhm.
at in your hormonal cycle, and
Yeah.
like how it can affect your orgasms, and like what sex positions you
Wow.
should be doing in each cycle. And I'm like,
Wait,
let's get into it.
what? Where's the quick reference sheet for this? I need to know.
I know we need to like bring it up. I don't have it on.
Yeah.
I couldn't even bring it up right now, but I
Oh,
know
we will do an episode on that
people do it because
tonight.
it's so good. Because I was like, damn, like when I read it, it made so much sense because exactly what you're saying, your body's
Yeah.
going through different motions. And the same applies for like working out for women. They say that your body adapts better to certain workouts during certain points of your cycle. So
Oh.
it's the same with orgasming or reaching orgasm. They're like during like this point of your like luteal cycle, you're gonna have more high energy, so it's gonna be more high energy sex. And then during this one, you're supposed to be like a little more relaxed. Your body wants you to take it easier, so it's like more slow and steady, even more foreplay focused. It's crazy.
I need to know all of this. Somebody was telling me there was a study done on women that took hormonal birth control, and that when they got off it, it actually even shifted the way they looked at their partner. That some women it led to divorce because they were so attracted to their partner, and then they got married, and then they got off birth control, and literally everything changed.
Yeah, I've heard about that, and I think we've talked about that too. I think mostly the study is when you're on birth control, excuse me, you are, your body is telling you you're not supposed to have children, like the hormones that it's giving you. So
Right.
you can typically actually become more attracted if you're on it for a long time. There's something about the hormones, and I don't know how it affects the brain, but you actually are more attracted to like pheromones of people that wouldn't make a good mate with you.
Oh my God, that's so
And
interesting.
that's where I think that once you get off of it, you're actually being attracted to like your hormones are back
Right.
and are ready for a baby. So you're supposed to be attracted in like pheromones wise and like attract people that would make a good mate for you
Oh
to
my
procreate.
God.
It's some deep
That's
shit.
crazy.
I know. I love this. Wait, we got so like, I mean,
I
it's
know.
just,
Okay, wait. So, okay.
no,
Topic
hit,
is sex, good, good, bad, and ugly. Okay, you have to give me your best and worst sexual experience.
oof. Okay. Okay. I'm like, hot. Okay, I would say definitely once like me and my last partner hit the stride of sex, I was like, oh, this shit is bomb. Like Why
Wait,
didn't
I
anyone
still need to get that. I'm so uncomfortable with oral sex. Like I literally like I tense up. I don't like people doing it. I don't want anybody down there. Like it's too close. Like
when I tell you, like I was like that. That might be my worst experience. The first time one of my exes went down on me. It was like
yeah.
it was like so bad. It was like I was so tense. I was like, what is he doing?
Right.
How could he enjoy this? Like I
Right.
genuinely just all of the thoughts infiltrated my brain and I was just like, this fucking sucks. I think I'm supposed to be enjoying this and I can't like I don't even feel stimulation at
Yeah.
this point because I was still in my head. But then thankfully like my ex actually pushed it less up. They was the only thing that like actually kind of did it for me. Like vaginal stimulation isn't as sensational for me. So it was like, okay. He was like, let me try this. You know, let's keep trying this because I feel like this is what we're having the best track record with.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And then like, damn, I don't even know what happened.
Damn, the dam's opened.
Brilliant. But I think I just relaxed finally because I was like
Yeah.
comfortable enough with him that I was like, he's not like, yeah, he's doing this for my benefit, but he's not doing it begrudgingly. Like he at that point in time was doing it genuinely to like please me. And I was like, he loves me.
Yeah.
He's happy doing this. He wants me to have a good time.
Yeah.
And I think he just like clicked one day.
Yeah.
And damn, like, yeah, I literally like.
Well, that's the other thing too. I think it's that relaxation. Like I had told somebody that I was intimate with that I had faked it, and he was so offended, and like literally, I was like, well, for one, I wasn't comfortable with you. Like, how can I can't get to that point as a woman, like not feeling fully comfortable and it being a newer thing, you know?
No, okay. So yeah, those I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna kind of cop out and say that that's my good and my bad.
Cheater.
Well, okay, I'm trying to think of bad. Like I've had one experience. I have to plug in my laptop, but we're gonna continue this. But my one experience that was kind of bad, which is kind of funny, but it was funny to me. But then I was like, oh, that's kind of fucked up. Is I fell asleep during it was really late. Like I had such a crazy like work week. We were like, it was
Talk about killing an ego.
that's the whole thing. So that's why it became a bad experience. I was with someone he had taken care of me to do something. I think he like wanted to shower or something. So it wasn't my fault. Like I was like fully relaxed.
Yeah.
This was in bed already. She fell asleep. And like he like tried waking me up and I was like, and then like he like woke me up and was like, hey. And I was like, oh no, it was the next morning. He was like, you fell asleep. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, well, I thought we were going to continue. And I remember being like, I made a joke and it wasn't really appropriate. But I said something around the lines of like, oh, this is the one time that you didn't get yours. I'm so sorry, kind of thing. That was a bad experience because he was offended, obviously. And then I was like, well, I don't take those words back, but I understand like the bluntness of it is not nice and it was uncaring in that moment. But I was like, but really, have you ever not gotten off any other time?
Seriously.
Right? And he was like, well, no, but you, and I was like, I didn't purposely fall asleep. It wasn't like I was like saying fuck you. It just
right.
But that was like definitely a tension filled day where I did feel bad, but I also was like kind of like I do feel bad still, but I'm like genuinely that was the truth. That was the one time I think in all of our sexual experiences that he didn't, and I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah,
like,
it's fine.
How many times have you been like, yeah, it's just not working tonight, I guess. You know, like I don't know. I want to hear yours. I'm going to plug in. I'm going to put me on mute so you don't hear like crinkling, but I want to hear good, bad, and ugly if you want to share all three.
I will say the bad was oh man, it was so sad when it was bad too, because this guy, I was so into him and we were like dating pretty consistently. We were going on these amazing dates, like the most incredible dates I've ever been on, laughing together, like hanging out. There was one point like we had gone to this place here in town, and it was around Christmas time, and we like walked across this like bridge thing, and there was like Christmas music playing, and then this fake snow started falling, and then he kissed me, and like incredible dates, like incredible conversations, always laughing. But like we were seeing each other pretty consistently for a couple months, and you never tried to have sex. And I was like, what's going on? And so like I was telling my friends, I'm like, I'm really into this guy. I really want to have sex with him. And first time it was not good. It was not good at all.
Yeah.
And my friends were like, "Oh, well, you just built it up so much. Like, you just have to try again." I'm like, "Okay, okay, okay." So I go back in, ready to put my all in. Yeah. We got drunk. So usually that's going to make it better. No, it was not good. Next morning we woke up, sober, tried it again, worse, very aware of how bad it was.
Oh,
So
that's hard.
experience.
Okay, I want to hear, but that's relatable. Like, and I've definitely been on that side of like building something up,
Yeah.
and then you're like, or like not having sex with someone after going on multiple dates. Like, we're not talking like one or two. We're talking like multiple, and you're like, is it ever gonna happen? Now it's like,
are we just friends?
Yeah. Okay, I want to hear about the gun.
I would have to say it's my most recent ex. Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He did his work.
He did God's work in the bedroom.
Oh my God. Okay, wait, is this TMI? But would you say that like your favorite medium is still like a bedroom? Or would you say that y'all got into like real?
No, we definitely did it in many different places. I would say it would depend on the situation. Like I think that I would definitely want a partner that was always down to try different places and things. But I probably feel I probably can actually like be the most relaxed in the bedroom.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. It's just
But I kind of like the energy of somebody that's like, I want you right here and right now. And it doesn't fucking matter where we are. One of the beginning of the times when we first started seeing each other, I was walking him out to his car at the apartment complex that I lived at the time, and he was like smoking a cigarette. And then I'm like saying goodbye to him, and he like picks me up, throws me on a car in front of my apartment complex, starts having sex with me on top of the car.
Yes.
I was like, oh damn. Yeah.
Damn is right.
Yeah.
That's some passion.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was your. Would you want to continue, or do you think that was all you're good about? I am curious though. Like if we can still. Do you think we have enough time on this same subject? Okay. I would love to hear how important you think sex is in a healthy relationship. Like I should say, good sex, like really good. And then how much do you think you can actually improve from the first couple of times? Like if you have a couple of bad eggs, like we had talked about, like you're the first guy that you mentioned, like the first time was bad, but you were like, maybe it was just that time. Like how many times is it where it's like, no, this is not getting better? Or do you think like in general, can it get better?
That's such a good question. I think there has to be something there at the beginning, because I do think there's the pheromones. I do think there's that sexual attraction. I do think it's the way people's bodies even like work together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it has to be perfect. I don't think it has to be like shooting stars the first time. I think just like you and your ex, like I think there is a way, if you have that open communication, like you can totally get there.
Yeah.
But I think it can be a complete dud at the beginning.
No,
Yeah.
definitely.
What do you think?
No, I agree. And like, even though I know I talked about like how it got better, it wasn't like the first time wasn't great. Like the first time was great. It was just not like I didn't complete. So it was more like, oh, okay, how do we get that for you?
Yeah.
But the first time was still awesome. It was a great time. Like also kissing is such a huge thing for me. Like
it's huge. I told you, I just went on that date where I'm like, Ah,
Not a good kisser.
yeah, like, he was a great date, and he was so nice, and, like, I could have hung out with him more, but then, like, the gentlemen, if you're watching this, do not do this with your tongue. That does not belong in a kiss.
Oh my God, that's so
Tap my
true.
mouth with your tongue.
First of all, there's like mediums, right? Like, or like, I don't even know. Yeah. You can either be like way too aggressive, or you can be like so fucking vanilla that I'm
Yeah.
like, am I kissing a pillow
Oh,
right now?
for
Like,
sure.
oh Lord.
Yeah.
So agreed with the like poking of the tongue.
Ugh.
That's
No,
never a thing. That's
no.
never, I don't think any woman has ever been like, dear Jesus, Matthew, poke me with his tongue tonight. Like no one, no one. Listen to Ruth. Listen.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. What was my first question? I'm sorry, I gave you too many
Oh,
questions.
wait, oh, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
how important is sex in a relationship?
um,
um,
I think it's I really think it's important. I
yeah,
do. I think that, it maybe differs from person to person. For me personally, I think it's an important factor to work on and to keep throughout your relationship, because there's so many other factors in relationships that are hard, and going out in the world struggling to, like, get ahead, like, doing all of the other things that you just have to do, and then that affecting your relationship, that if you work on that piece, at least there's a way for you guys to connect consistently.
yeah, absolutely. I do think it's important.
Yeah.
Even though I like, I've been with people before where it's like, oh, like everything's good, but you don't have that fire that I need, and that I need. But like I've been like, I think of a guy that I was dating last year actually, and I told you about him. He was awesome. He was so cool to go on dates with. Fucking rad personality. He would be someone that I would put on that green
Yeah.
flags. He had a lot of green flags, but when it came to physical intimacy, it was just lacking. Like
Mhm.
he didn't. First of all, we went on like 8 dates before he tried to make a move, right? And I was
Okay.
like, 8 dates. And Ruth, I was in his bed, like, or on top of his bed, like twice before he even made a move. And by the time that he made the move, he was like so nervous, and it was like he was already too far in. And then the man has the audacity in that moment to tell me that he doesn't want anything serious. So I'm like, why the fuck have you taken me on 8 dates? Like, if we would have discussed this date too, we could have been fine and had we, we could have had a like
We could have figured out a solution between the two of us.
it could have like we would have figured that out if that was like a thing, like if it was going to be just casual
Yeah.
relations.
Yeah.
But you've been setting it up like I'm your next girlfriend because you've only taken me on dates and you barely kissed me at the end of the
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
And he was like, you're so hot and I want you so bad, but I just don't want to hurt you. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave.
Yeah. For when, don't assume you can hurt me before I tell you
first,
you can. Yeah.
first and foremost. But it
Yeah.
was just hilarious that he was like waited that long, and then by the time it was still like with a disclaimer, and I was like, yeah, we're not doing this tonight.
No. Goodbye.
Ooh, I have another question. I'm sorry if we
Yeah.
don't. What kills the mood for you for like getting into that situation, right?
Mm.
Say the ex that you just talked about, he did not ask you, can I bend you over this car?
No. No.
But there has to be obviously some boundaries with that of like, especially a first time
First time,
encounter. I think
as you get closer, more intimate with somebody.
it's just you can,
Yeah.
but I think obviously with a first time encounter, definitely spell it out for you. But when does it like kill? Have you been there where it's like killed the mood when someone's like talking about it so much before you do it that you're just like, okay. Like, have you
So
experienced that?
I I will say there's been a scenario that I was in that we were not doing that, but we were talking about doing it a lot, and it almost made it more exciting, because it was like you knew you weren't going to, but the conversation and the, like, playful.
Mm. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I always like, I still have this. Oh God, this is embarrassing. Okay, so I have this like not like a fantasy, but it is a fantasy. I feel like of like yeah, having that like discussion at somewhere where it's like wildly inappropriate, like at a dinner table with like people. You know, it's like under your breath, just like oh, well,
Yeah.
and then like
I think that should be part of a relationship. Like, I would love to be like in a relationship and out with my partner and just be like, yo, I would fuck this shit out of you.
out of you
Like,
right now. And you're like, damn.
yeah.
Yeah, I totally like I've thought about that so many times where I've been like I wish someone had the audacity. Like I think I would be like full beat red, but if like my partner somewhere was like, say we're at like I always like go to like a family dinner, which is like bad. But like somewhere that you would like say it's like an event, like even like we go to like events a lot for, you know, like a premiere or something like that. There's a lot of people around and then they just come up to you and they like whisper in there. You're like, dude, I'd fuck this shit out of you. And you're like,
That's hot. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Please sign me up for that. Accepting all applications for partners that want to be like that.
time below.
Yeah, I love that. But you did ask me what turns me off, and I went to what turns me on. What would turn me off? Like, you know, I do think that when I am in that intimate situation, I don't want to keep, and maybe this is why like I'm not good with the communication part of this. Like, I don't like when somebody's laying there and like asking me, "Oh, does this feel good? Does this feel good?" This I'm like, just I will respond with my body. I will respond with sound. Like, I don't want to keep having dialogue during.
I think there's a happy balance because I think there's also a difference of like, does this feel good? And someone being like,
Ooh, that's
so in their head
cool.
and they're like, does this feel good?
That's so true.
Yeah, because like
the tone and the intention. That's what it is.
Because if someone's highly insecure and they're on top of you, you're kind of like, why am I under you?
Yeah.
But if they're like, damn, I know I'm about to do a good job. And if this isn't working, don't worry, girl. I got some things up my sleeve. You're like, oh, okay.
I'm here for it.
Like, I love you. You're so like, this is hilarious. But it's true. I think, yeah, because I think I do. I think I'm more vocal. I like not necessarily like that validation where it's like insecure validation, but if you're I want to know if you're having a good time.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you ask me, I'd love to tell you. Sign here. No, taking applications. I'm kidding.
Oh my God, I love it. All right, so everybody out there, tell us your experiences if you feel comfortable.
Oh, we're not going to get any responses from this. Yeah, but let them hear our fun experiences.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm Adam Khalil. Thank you so much for listening to this video. I definitely want you to subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more content like this. But if this content had any value to you, click the like button as well.